Imagine for a moment that everything you rely on, the people, the comforts, the relationships suddenly vanish. What would you do? How would you survive? The truth is, everyone leaves at some point. People come and go, situations change, and the world keeps moving forward. And in those moments of solitude, when you feel like the world has turned its back on you, it's easy to feel lost, abandoned, or like you don't have what it takes to move forward. But here's the powerful truth: you have everything you need within you to not only survive, but to thrive alone. The key is learning how to turn that loneliness into your greatest strength. Let me tell you, surviving alone isn't about being weak or about giving in to fear. It's about recognizing that in the absence of everything else, you still have the most important thing, you. Your resilience, your inner strength, your ability to create, adapt, and overcome is limitless. It's time to stop fearing the solitude and start embracing it. Because when you learn how to survive alone, you tap into a version of yourself that is powerful beyond measure. You'll begin to realize that it's not the people around you that make you strong, it's the belief that no matter what happens, you've got the ability to take on the world alone and come out on top. So are you ready to discover just how strong you really are? Let's dive in. Embracing solitude as a path to self-discovery is one of the most transformative decisions you can make. In a world that is constantly filled with distractions, noise, and external influences, it can be challenging to find moments of quiet where we can truly hear ourselves. But it's in these moments of solitude that we have the greatest opportunity to connect with who we really are, understand our deepest desires, and uncover our true potential. Solitude doesn't mean isolation or loneliness. It means giving yourself the space to be with your thoughts, feelings, and aspirations without the influence of others. It's a powerful tool for growth, reflection, and self-awareness. In solitude, we are forced to confront our innermost selves. Without the constant chatter of the outside world, we no longer have the distractions that prevent us from seeing what lies beneath the surface. We often find that we are not as in tune with our own thoughts and emotions as we'd like to be. We may have spent so much time pleasing others, meeting societal expectations, or living according to someone else's timeline that we've lost touch with who we really are. Solitude gives us the opportunity to reconnect with ourselves, to peel back the layers of expectations, and to discover what truly matters to us. It's in these quiet moments that we can hear the voice of our authentic self calling us to take the path that is right for us, not the one that others have laid out. When we are alone, we are no longer running from our fears, insecurities, or unresolved issues. Solitude brings them to the surface. At first, this can be uncomfortable. We may feel overwhelmed by the emotions that come up, or we might be tempted to fill the silence with distractions to avoid confronting the parts of ourselves that we'd rather not face. However, this is the beauty of solitude. It forces us to sit with our discomfort and gives us the space to understand it. It allows us to work through the emotions and thoughts that we have been suppressing, to process the past, and to come to terms with our fears. This introspection enables us to heal, grow, and move forward with a deeper understanding of ourselves. As we embrace solitude, we also begin to understand our true desires, values, and purpose in life. Without the constant input from others, whether it's family, friends, or society at large, we can start to see what truly matters to us. It's easy to get caught up in the expectations of those around us, to live according to what others think we should do or be. But when we step away from these external pressures and spend time in solitude, we can reconnect with what lights us up, what excites us, and what drives us. We become more in tune with our passions and our purpose. We are no longer living according to someone else's script. Instead, we are writing our own story. Solitude also offers us the opportunity to reflect on our past, learn from our experiences, and envision our future. Often we get so caught up in the busyness of life that we don't take the time to reflect on where we've been and where we want to go. Solitude allows us the space to look back on our journey, to understand the lessons we've learned, and to acknowledge the growth we've experienced. It gives us the chance to make sense of our past mistakes, to forgive ourselves, and to gain clarity on how we want to move forward. In these moments of reflection, we can set new intentions, clarify our goals, and create a vision for our future that is aligned with our true self. One of the most powerful aspects of embracing solitude is that it helps us to strengthen our relationship with ourselves. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek validation from others, solitude teaches us the importance of self-validation. When we are alone, we are forced to rely on our own thoughts, feelings, and judgment. We learn to trust ourselves more deeply and to appreciate our own company. This is an empowering experience because it means that we no longer need external approval to feel worthy or valued. We learn to affirm ourselves, to celebrate our own successes, and to be our own source of support and encouragement. This inner strength is vital for building confidence and resilience. In solitude, we also develop a deeper sense of self-compassion. Without the distractions of the outside world, we are more likely to be kind and understanding toward ourselves. We are not constantly comparing ourselves to others or measuring our worth by external standards. Instead, we can show ourselves the love and care that we often reserve for others. We learn to accept our flaws, forgive our mistakes, and embrace our imperfections. Solitude teaches us that we don't need to be perfect, we just need to be authentic. It allows us to develop a sense of peace with who we are, knowing that we are enough just as we are. Furthermore, solitude allows us to cultivate creativity and innovation. When we are alone, we are free from the opinions, expectations, and influences of others. This freedom gives us the space to explore new ideas, to think outside the box, and to create without limitations. Many of the greatest ideas and inventions throughout history have been born in solitude. The quiet of being alone gives our minds the freedom to wander, to make connections, and to come up with solutions that we might never have discovered in the noise of everyday life. Solitude fosters an environment where creativity can flourish and where we can tap into our own unique abilities to create, innovate, and solve problems. Solitude also provides an opportunity to deepen our spiritual connection. Whether through meditation, prayer, or quiet reflection, being alone allows us to connect with something greater than ourselves. It's in these moments of solitude that we can find inner peace, clarity, and guidance. We may come to understand our spiritual beliefs more deeply, discover a sense of purpose that transcends our daily concerns, or simply find solace in the quiet presence of something divine. Solitude can bring us closer to the truth of who we are and to a greater sense of peace with the world around us. Learning to embrace solitude doesn't mean that we have to isolate ourselves from others permanently. Rather, it means recognizing the value of spending time alone and using it as a tool for self-growth. It means finding the balance between connection and independence, between socializing and introspection. Solitude is not about avoiding others, but about learning to stand strong in your own company, to be whole without relying on external validation, and to find peace within yourself. It is about reclaiming your own space and using it to discover the person you were always meant to be. By embracing solitude, we give ourselves the opportunity to grow into our best selves. We uncover our passions, learn to trust our own judgment, develop self-compassion, and connect with our spiritual essence. In solitude, we discover the strength that has always been within us, waiting to be unleashed. And when we emerge from our time alone, we do so with greater clarity, purpose, and confidence, ready to take on the world with a deeper understanding of who we truly are. Your strength comes from within, not from external sources. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with messages about what we should look like, how we should behave, and what success should look like, it can be easy to forget that true strength is not dependent on outside circumstances, material possessions, or the approval of others. The strength we need to face life's challenges, to push through adversity, and to achieve our fullest potential has always resided within us. The external world might influence us, but it's the internal world, our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and choices that ultimately shapes who we are and what we become. When we are constantly seeking validation from external sources, we give away our power. We rely on others to define our worth, to tell us what we're capable of, and to validate our existence. We look for approval from our peers, our families, our bosses, or even society at large. This can create a cycle of dependence where we constantly feel like we need to prove ourselves to others or seek their affirmation to feel good about ourselves. But here's the truth: no matter how much external validation we receive, it will never be enough to fill the void of true inner strength. The more we rely on others to define our worth, the more we lose touch with the strength that resides within us. True strength comes from an internal source: our beliefs, our mindset, and our ability to take control of our thoughts and emotions. When we learn to cultivate a positive and resilient mindset, we tap into a powerful force that can carry us through even the most difficult situations. External circumstances may change and people may come and go, but our internal strength remains constant. It is rooted in the way we think about ourselves and the world around us. It is based on the decisions we make, the way we approach challenges, and the attitude we choose to adopt. It is in our ability to choose how we respond to life's ups and downs rather than being at the mercy of external factors. One of the most powerful ways to access this inner strength is by embracing a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset understand that challenges and setbacks are not signs of weakness or failure, but opportunities for growth. They see adversity as a stepping stone to greater knowledge, resilience, and wisdom. This mindset allows us to turn obstacles into opportunities, and it shifts our perspective from one of defeat to one of empowerment. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a challenge, we see it as a chance to learn, to grow, and to strengthen our resolve. When we adopt this mindset, we recognize that we are capable of handling anything life throws our way. We understand that our strength is not in avoiding challenges, but in facing them with determination and an unwavering belief in our ability to overcome them. Another key to unlocking inner strength is cultivating self-awareness. When we become aware of our thoughts, emotions, and triggers, we are better equipped to manage them. Self-awareness allows us to recognize patterns in our behavior and thought processes that might be holding us back. It helps us identify negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, or fears that might be limiting our potential. Once we are aware of these patterns, we can take action to shift our mindset and change the way we think about ourselves and the world. We realize that we have the power to choose how we react to life's challenges, and we can stop letting fear, doubt, or insecurity dictate our actions. Self-awareness also allows us to better understand our strengths and weaknesses. We begin to recognize what we are truly capable of, and we learn to trust in our abilities. Instead of looking for validation from others, we can look inward and see our own worth. This understanding of our own strengths gives us the confidence to pursue our goals, take risks, and step outside of our comfort zones. It also helps us to be more compassionate with ourselves, recognizing that we are all works in progress. We don't need to be perfect to be strong. Strength is not about never making mistakes or facing failure. It's about persevering despite those things, learning from them, and continuing to move forward. Another crucial aspect of building inner strength is developing emotional resilience. Life is filled with ups and downs, and we cannot always control what happens to us. However, we can control how we respond to these events. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to manage stress, and to maintain a sense of inner peace in the face of adversity. It's about choosing not to let external circumstances dictate our emotional state. Instead of reacting to challenges with anger, frustration, or helplessness, we learn to take a step back, assess the situation, and respond with calmness and clarity. This ability to maintain emotional equilibrium in the midst of chaos is one of the most powerful forms of inner strength. A key component of emotional resilience is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts and emotions, and we learn to respond to them with acceptance and compassion. We stop allowing our thoughts to control us, and instead we take control of our thoughts. This ability to stay grounded and centered in the present moment allows us to deal with challenges in a way that doesn't drain our energy or disrupt our peace of mind. One of the greatest sources of inner strength is having a deep sense of purpose. When we know why we do what we do, when we have a clear vision of our goals and values, we are more resilient in the face of obstacles. Purpose provides us with a sense of direction and motivation, and it helps us stay focused when times get tough. It is the inner drive that pushes us to keep going, even when the road is difficult. Purpose reminds us that there is something bigger than our current circumstances, something worth fighting for. When we are connected to our purpose, we are unstoppable. At times, external sources of strength, whether it's a mentor, supportive friend, or a belief system, can provide us with guidance and encouragement. But these sources are temporary, and they should never be relied upon exclusively. True strength comes from developing a deep belief in ourselves and our abilities. It comes from knowing that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way because we have the power to choose our response. We may face setbacks, obstacles, and challenges, but we know that we can overcome them. Our inner strength is built through our thoughts, our mindset, and our ability to persevere. It is in the belief that no matter what happens, we are always capable of rising up and moving forward. When we tap into this inner strength, we realize that we are far more capable than we ever thought possible. The challenges we face become opportunities for growth, and we are no longer at the mercy of external forces. Instead, we become the creators of our own reality. We no longer seek validation from the outside world because we have already found the source of our power within. True strength doesn't come from the approval of others or the accumulation of material wealth. It comes from our own resilience, our ability to adapt, and our unwavering belief in our own potential. When we learn to harness this inner strength, we unlock a limitless source of power that can carry us through anything life throws our way. Self-reliance is the key to overcoming loneliness. In a world that is constantly connected, loneliness can still creep into our lives, often unexpectedly. It can be a deep, unsettling feeling of isolation, even when surrounded by others. People sometimes look to others or external sources for the antidote to loneliness, thinking that connecting with someone else will solve the problem. While relationships and social connections are undoubtedly important, true relief from loneliness comes from within. It is through cultivating self-reliance that we learn to not only cope with but thrive in solitude, finding peace and fulfillment in our own company. Loneliness often arises when we feel disconnected from others or when our social connections aren't providing the emotional fulfillment we need. This feeling can lead us to believe that something is missing from our lives, and we may look outward for answers. We might spend time trying to fill the void with social interactions, distractions, or material possessions. However, these external solutions only offer temporary relief. True lasting peace comes from within, and the ability to be comfortable alone is essential for overcoming loneliness. Self-reliance is the foundation for this internal peace. It means learning to trust in your own abilities, emotions, and judgments. When we are self-reliant, we no longer depend on others to provide our sense of worth, happiness, or fulfillment. We take responsibility for our own emotional state and find ways to nurture ourselves, even in the absence of external validation. Instead of waiting for someone else to fill the emptiness, we learn to fill it ourselves, drawing from our inner resources. The first step towards self-reliance is self-awareness. To overcome loneliness, we must first understand ourselves, the emotions, thoughts, and behaviors that shape our experience. Loneliness often arises from not fully understanding or embracing who we are. When we don't know ourselves, we rely on others to define us, and this can create a sense of emptiness or unfulfillment. Self-awareness helps us to acknowledge and embrace both our strengths and weaknesses. It allows us to recognize the areas of our lives where we may feel vulnerable or uncertain, and to take ownership of these feelings instead of allowing them to control us. By understanding ourselves better, we become more capable of managing our own emotional needs, reducing the impact of loneliness. Being self-reliant also means accepting the responsibility for our own happiness. Many people spend a great deal of time seeking validation or approval from others, believing that these external sources will provide the fulfillment they crave. While relationships can enhance our lives, they cannot be the sole source of our happiness. Happiness is an inside job, and it is only through self-reliance that we can truly experience joy, regardless of our social circumstances. When we learn to find contentment within ourselves, loneliness loses its power over us. We no longer feel like we need to be constantly surrounded by others to feel validated or complete. Developing hobbies and interests that bring us joy is another important aspect of self-reliance. When we are self-reliant, we learn to enjoy our own company and can engage in activities that bring us fulfillment, whether it's reading, writing, painting, cooking, or pursuing any other passion. These activities help us to create a sense of purpose and satisfaction that is independent of the people around us. Having interests that we can engage with alone helps to reduce feelings of loneliness because it shifts our focus from the absence of others to the joy and satisfaction we derive from our own actions. In fact, when we cultivate passions that bring us joy, we often discover new facets of ourselves, expanding our sense of identity and self-worth. Self-reliance also means learning how to cope with difficult emotions without relying on others. Loneliness can often trigger feelings of sadness, despair, or frustration, and it can be tempting to turn to others for comfort. However, true emotional resilience comes from developing the tools to process and manage our emotions independently. This involves acknowledging our feelings without judgment and finding healthy ways to navigate them. Practices such as journaling, mindfulness, or meditation can help us to reflect on our emotions, understand their origins, and learn how to manage them in a way that nurtures our well-being. By building emotional strength, we develop the capacity to face loneliness without being overwhelmed by it. Being self-reliant also means embracing the power of solitude. Society often portrays solitude in a negative light, associating it with loneliness or social rejection. However, solitude can be a powerful tool for self-growth and reflection. When we learn to enjoy solitude, we transform it from something negative into an opportunity for personal development. Solitude allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to reflect on our lives, and to gain clarity on our goals and values. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that we often have our greatest insights and breakthroughs. By learning to value and embrace solitude, we begin to see it as a source of strength rather than something to fear. Moreover, self-reliance also means creating a healthy relationship with our own thoughts and self-talk. Often, loneliness is accompanied by negative thinking, such as feeling unworthy or inadequate. We might tell ourselves that we are unimportant, that we have nothing to offer, or that we are destined to be alone forever. These thoughts can reinforce feelings of isolation and keep us trapped in a cycle of loneliness. Developing self-reliance means learning to challenge these negative thoughts, replacing them with affirmations of our worth and capabilities. When we learn to speak to ourselves with kindness and encouragement, we stop relying on others to affirm our value. We develop the inner strength to lift ourselves up, even in the face of loneliness. One of the most empowering aspects of self-reliance is the ability to set healthy boundaries. When we are reliant on others for our happiness or sense of worth, we may neglect our own needs in order to please them or gain their approval. This can lead to unhealthy relationships and an increased sense of loneliness when those relationships do not meet our emotional needs. By developing self-reliance, we learn to prioritize our own well-being, setting boundaries that protect our emotional health. This means learning to say no when necessary, making time for self-care, and choosing relationships that support and uplift us rather than drain us. Healthy boundaries help us to maintain a strong sense of self, even in social settings, and reduce feelings of loneliness caused by unhealthy attachments or people-pleasing behaviors. Self-reliance also nurtures our sense of independence, allowing us to experience freedom in the face of loneliness. When we rely on others to define our happiness or fill our emotional needs, we give away our autonomy. We become dependent on external factors for our sense of well-being, and this can lead to feelings of powerlessness. By developing self-reliance, we take back our power and embrace the freedom that comes with knowing we can create our own happiness. We no longer wait for others to make us feel complete. Instead, we find fulfillment in our own company, our own actions, and our own decisions. While social connections are important, the ability to be self-reliant is what truly empowers us to overcome loneliness. By cultivating self-awareness, finding joy in our own interests, managing our emotions, and learning to embrace solitude, we build the internal strength needed to face loneliness with grace and resilience. When we are self-reliant, loneliness no longer has the power to control us. Instead, it becomes an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Through self-reliance, we learn that we are never truly alone because we carry our own strength and fulfillment within us at all times. Building resilience by learning to face challenges alone is one of the most empowering lessons anyone can learn. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable and full of difficulties. While it is comforting to rely on others for support during tough times, true strength is developed when we learn how to face challenges independently. Resilience is not just about bouncing back from adversity, it is about the ability to endure hardship, adapt to difficult circumstances, and grow stronger as a result. When we embrace the idea of facing challenges alone, we tap into a well of inner strength that empowers us to handle whatever comes our way. Facing challenges alone doesn't mean isolating ourselves or rejecting help. It means cultivating the ability to rely on our own resources, our mental and emotional strength, our problem-solving skills, and our determination. We often underestimate our own capacity to endure and persevere because we are conditioned to believe that we need constant support. However, when we trust ourselves to handle difficulties on our own, we unlock a level of resilience that can only be developed through experience. Each time we confront a challenge independently, we learn something new about our ability to overcome, adapt, and grow. One of the first steps in building resilience by facing challenges alone is acknowledging that difficulty is a natural part of life. Struggles and setbacks are inevitable, but how we respond to them shapes our character and future success. Instead of seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles, we begin to view them as opportunities to learn and grow. When we face adversity on our own, we are forced to dig deep into our inner resources, discover our strengths, and find solutions we may not have considered when relying on others for answers. By confronting challenges alone, we develop the confidence to trust ourselves, knowing that we have the ability to navigate whatever comes our way. Another important aspect of resilience is the ability to manage our emotions during difficult times. When faced with adversity, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or defeated. The key to building resilience is learning how to manage these emotions rather than letting them control us. When we face challenges alone, we are forced to confront our emotional responses without external distractions or the comfort of others. This can be a daunting task, but it is also a powerful way to strengthen our emotional resilience. By learning to stay calm, composed, and focused in the face of adversity, we develop a sense of control over our own emotions, which enables us to make better decisions and take effective action. Facing challenges alone also requires developing problem-solving skills. When we are on our own, we must rely on our own judgment to navigate difficulties and find solutions. This forces us to think critically, evaluate options, and take action, even in uncertain or difficult circumstances. The more we practice this, the better we become at solving problems efficiently and effectively. Over time, we begin to trust our own decision-making abilities, and we build the resilience necessary to handle future challenges with greater ease. Rather than waiting for someone else to provide solutions, we become active participants in shaping our own outcomes, knowing that we have the skills and resourcefulness to overcome any obstacle. Self-reliance is a key element in building resilience. When we face challenges alone, we are forced to rely on our own resources and capabilities. This fosters a sense of independence and self-sufficiency that is crucial for developing resilience. When we rely too heavily on others for help, we may start to doubt our own abilities or become overly dependent on external support. By learning to face challenges independently, we reinforce the belief that we can handle difficult situations without relying on others for validation or assistance. This sense of self-sufficiency gives us the confidence to face future challenges, knowing that we have the inner strength to navigate them on our own. Furthermore, facing challenges alone builds mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay focused, motivated, and determined, even in the face of adversity. It is the quality that allows us to keep going when things get tough, to push through discomfort, and to persevere despite setbacks. When we face difficulties independently, we are forced to tap into our mental reserves and cultivate a mindset of persistence. Each time we confront a challenge on our own and come out the other side, we build our mental toughness, strengthening our resolve to tackle future obstacles with greater determination. Another powerful aspect of building resilience through facing challenges alone is the growth that comes from stepping outside of our comfort zones. Challenges often require us to step into the unknown, to take risks, and to stretch beyond what we thought was possible. When we face challenges alone, we are forced to embrace uncertainty and develop the courage to take action, even when the outcome is unclear. This process of stepping outside our comfort zones and navigating difficult situations builds resilience by expanding our capacity to handle discomfort and uncertainty. Each time we push ourselves to confront new challenges, we build the mental and emotional flexibility necessary to adapt to whatever life throws our way. As we learn to face challenges alone, we also cultivate a sense of personal responsibility. Resilience is not about blaming others or external circumstances for our difficulties. It is about taking ownership of our lives and our responses to adversity. When we face challenges independently, we stop relying on others to fix our problems or make things right. Instead, we take full responsibility for our actions, decisions, and outcomes. This sense of accountability empowers us to make proactive choices, to learn from our mistakes, and to grow from every experience. It fosters a mindset of self-empowerment where we believe that we are the architects of our own lives, capable of overcoming any challenge that comes our way. Moreover, facing challenges alone helps us develop patience. Resilience is not built overnight. It takes time, effort, and consistent practice. When we face difficulties on our own, we are often required to wait, endure, and persist through long periods of uncertainty and discomfort. This teaches us the value of patience as we learn to trust the process and allow things to unfold in their own time. The more we practice patience in the face of challenges, the more resilient we become as we develop the ability to withstand hardship without becoming discouraged or overwhelmed. One of the most important benefits of building resilience by facing challenges alone is the sense of empowerment it brings. When we confront adversity on our own and overcome it, we experience a profound sense of accomplishment. This builds our self-esteem and reinforces the belief that we are capable of handling whatever challenges lie ahead. The more we rely on ourselves and face difficulties independently, the more we trust in our own strength and abilities. This sense of empowerment creates a positive feedback loop where each challenge we face strengthens our belief in our capacity to persevere, leading to even greater resilience in the future. In the process of building resilience by facing challenges alone, we learn that adversity is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Each challenge we encounter is an opportunity to grow, learn, and expand our capacity for resilience. By learning to trust ourselves, manage our emotions, and solve problems independently, we become stronger, more adaptable, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way. Facing challenges alone is not about isolating ourselves or rejecting support. It is about tapping into our own inner strength and developing the mental, emotional, and physical resilience to thrive no matter the circumstances. Learning to trust your own abilities and instincts is one of the most empowering steps you can take toward personal growth and self-fulfillment. In a world that is constantly telling us what to do, how to think, and who to be, it's easy to doubt ourselves and our own judgment. Whether it's in our personal lives or professional endeavors, we often look to others for validation, approval, or guidance, believing that we need external reassurance to make the right choices. However, true confidence and success come from within. By learning to trust your own abilities and instincts, you unlock the full potential of your mind, your heart, and your inner strength, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and courage. The journey of learning to trust yourself begins with self-awareness. Without a clear understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, values, and desires, it's difficult to make decisions that align with your true self. Self-awareness involves taking the time to reflect on your thoughts, emotions, and actions and becoming attuned to the patterns that shape your behavior. When you take the time to get to know yourself, you begin to understand what motivates you, what you're passionate about, and where you truly excel. This self-knowledge provides the foundation for trusting your abilities. You stop questioning your choices because you understand the values and skills that guide you. The more self-aware you become, the more you begin to trust your instincts because you have a deep sense of who you are and what you're capable of achieving. Trusting your own abilities also requires letting go of the need for perfection. Many people hesitate to trust themselves because they fear making mistakes. This fear can lead to procrastination or indecision as they wait for the perfect moment or the perfect solution. However, perfection is an illusion, and waiting for the ideal conditions often keeps us stuck. It is through action, even imperfect action, that we learn and grow. Mistakes are not failures, but opportunities for learning. Every misstep teaches us something valuable about ourselves and the world around us. By accepting that mistakes are part of the process, you become more willing to trust your decisions, even if they don't lead to immediate success. This trust in your ability to navigate uncertainty and learn from failure builds confidence and resilience. Another key aspect of learning to trust your abilities is developing a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that their abilities can be developed through effort and learning, whereas those with a fixed mindset believe that abilities are innate and unchangeable. Adopting a growth mindset empowers you to trust that you can improve and adapt regardless of the challenges you face. When you encounter obstacles, instead of doubting your capabilities, you see them as opportunities to stretch your abilities and grow. Trusting your instincts becomes easier when you understand that you can always learn from any situation and that you have the power to overcome challenges and increase your skill set. The more you practice this mindset, the more you begin to trust that your abilities are not fixed but malleable and that you have the resources within you to succeed. Trusting your instincts is not only about believing in your skills and knowledge, but also about developing the courage to listen to your inner voice. Your instincts are often a reflection of your subconscious mind, drawing on your past experiences, knowledge, and emotional intelligence. These instincts can guide you in making decisions that are in alignment with your true self, even when logic or external opinions may suggest otherwise. Learning to trust your instincts requires quieting the noise of the world around you and tuning into your inner wisdom. This might mean making decisions that feel right in your gut, even if they go against the grain or challenge societal expectations. When you trust your instincts, you begin to trust the deeper wisdom that lies within you, which often knows the way even when your conscious mind is unsure. An important part of trusting your instincts is acknowledging the role of intuition. Intuition is often seen as a mysterious or abstract force, but in reality it is a form of knowledge that arises from experience and pattern recognition. Our brains are constantly processing information, often below the level of conscious awareness. Intuition allows us to access this information quickly and act on it without overthinking. By learning to trust your intuition, you can make decisions faster, with more confidence, and with less fear of making the wrong choice. The more you act on your instincts, the more you'll realize how accurate and reliable they can be. It's not about ignoring logic or reason, but learning to balance both with the wisdom of your intuition. One of the most empowering aspects of learning to trust your abilities is taking ownership of your decisions and actions. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they're constantly second-guessing themselves or seeking external approval before making decisions. This behavior often leads to a lack of confidence and an inability to trust your judgment. However, when you begin to own your decisions and take responsibility for the outcomes, you shift from being a passive participant in your life to an active creator of your reality. Taking ownership means acknowledging that you have the power to make choices and that the results of those choices are ultimately up to you. This sense of agency fuels your trust in yourself as you realize that you are capable of shaping your life and achieving your goals. Equally important in building self-trust is developing a strong sense of resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and challenges are inevitable. However, resilient people know that setbacks do not define them. Instead, they view adversity as a temporary obstacle that can be overcome. Resilience comes from learning to trust that you can weather any storm and emerge stronger on the other side. Each time you face a challenge and overcome it, you reinforce your belief in your own abilities. You begin to trust not only your knowledge and skills, but also your capacity to handle adversity and bounce back from failure. Over time, resilience becomes second nature, and trusting yourself in the face of difficulty becomes easier. Learning to trust your abilities also means taking proactive steps towards self-improvement. It's not enough to simply believe in your abilities, you must continuously work on them. Personal growth comes from constant effort, whether it's developing new skills, seeking feedback, or challenging yourself to step out of your comfort zone. By committing to continuous improvement, you show yourself that you are capable of growth and that your potential is limitless. This reinforces your belief in your own abilities and encourages you to trust yourself even more. The more you push yourself to grow, the more you realize that you have the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. Finally, trusting your own abilities requires cultivating patience. Self-doubt often arises when we expect immediate results or rapid success. However, the path to mastery and success is rarely a straight line. It takes time, effort, and perseverance to develop your abilities and achieve your goals. Trusting yourself means being patient with the process and understanding that growth takes time. It means acknowledging that setbacks are a natural part of the journey and that they do not diminish your worth or capabilities. By learning to be patient with yourself, you allow your abilities to develop at their own pace, which reinforces your trust in yourself over time. Learning to trust your own abilities and instincts is an ongoing journey that requires self-awareness, resilience, and a commitment to personal growth. By letting go of the need for external validation, embracing failure as a learning opportunity, and listening to your intuition, you can cultivate deep confidence in your own judgment and capabilities. The more you practice trusting yourself, the more you realize that you are capable of achieving great things and handling whatever challenges come your way. Trusting yourself is the key to unlocking your full potential and living a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success.